grievous crisis between Wike and Fubara. I've listened to you talk about it for a bit. The feud between former governor and Governor Fubara has been described as a power struggle rather than a governance dispute. In your view, what does this say about the state of the nation and the nature of Nigeria's political journey, or democratic journey rather?
You know, I recently came across this social theory. It's known as normative collapse. And it speaks to a situation where a society has moved away from its guardrails, the norms that should protect the society and ensure that it progresses along a defined path. The norms that stops us from prioritizing private good whilst we abandon what is common good to all. These norms have completely collapsed in our society to the point where if you strip the Wike Similari's dance, if you strip it of the lies and distractions, what you find at the center of it is a quarrel among what I would generally refer to as thieves. I use the word advisedly, not in the sense of somebody who has stolen my property, but as somebody who has stolen the rights and the commonwealth of the people. Nobody, as you have said even in your question, has spoken to policy disagreements. We are not talking about ideological arguments. The totality of the argument is about how to share the commonwealth. Even from what the combatants have said in the public space, there is enough to draw this conclusion. So when you now find that because of that, we're in what is not a constitutional crisis, I beg to disagree. We moved beyond constitutional crisis in 2023. We've moved beyond that. In the first place, you need to have a constitution to fall into a constitutional crisis. It is the inherent contradictions and lies, both that produced the 1999 Constitution and that it contains, that we're grappling with today, where we have a president who is unchecked by the powers of a judicial arm, of a legislative arm that is largely responsible to the people, and subsequently finds itself able to dance to the whims of a president who himself does not believe that he holds it to Nigerians to use the powers enshrined in that constitution, as illegal as it is, for the benefit of all. We may quarrel about the imperfections and the lies of the 1999 Constitution, but even as imperfect as it is, if the president and the operators of that Constitution would adhere by its letters, unambiguous letters, we will not be in the kind of mess from which we seem to jump every day, from day to day. It's almost like every day there is something new. So the Wike Siminalayi thing is just another episode in a never-ending tragicomedy.
We delve into what Dele Farotimi talked about. The first question I want to ask you is, do you agree with what his analysis and his summaries about the fact that the fight between Fubara and Wike is not one about policies, it's not one about the shaping of the betterment of Rivers State, but one where it is a quarrel or fight between two thieves who are squabbling over how they will share the resources of Rivers State. Okay? If you're meeting this content for the first time, please like, share, subscribe. Please subscribe so we can continue to voice our opinions. What we're doing with this channel is to bring out the conversations that you have in your bedroom with your friends in your private areas where you talk about how to progress Nigeria forward. We're bringing that into the public space so that we can be that active participant, because for so long we left it in the hands of those people we are considered to be the professionals. And then it has not done well for us Nigerians. So what we want to do with this channel is to bring out those questions and give you that room to voice your opinion. And I will respond to your comments. We would have this conversation in the comment section and we'll do a lot of it. And then we will suggest on how we will progress the nation forward. If you're one of those who have been following us and have not yet subscribed, please do so. But I will also encourage you to watch this to the end, because these are all about me and you. It's affecting us. The policies that are being that are created every day in Nigeria, the policies that our politicians are putting forward affect me and you, and affect every one of us, everybody else, whether you're at home, whether you're in the diaspora. These conversations, as long as you are a Nigerian and as long as you have something to do with Nigeria, or you love the things that Nigerians do, whether you're Nigerian or not, this affects you too, because when you go home, or when you're at home and you travel down the road and you were kidnapped, then you're part of it. All right. So the question here is whether or not it is a constitutional problem, the fight between Fubara and Wike that has led to the state of emergency abruptly issued by the current president, Bola Tinubu, or whether it's a fight between two thieves. So you tell us when you're in the comment section what you think. Now, Dele Farotimi did something in the last a while, I think about 2 weeks ago with Sarah, and I reported on it. And we had an analysis of it as well, where it talked about it being a fight amongst thieves. And we know that it's now come to public knowledge, as alleged, that there was an agreement, internal agreement, that Wike would support Fubara, push him to become the governor. And as such, Fubara made an agreement with him to give him a certain percentage of the state resources. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but it's something in that line. I don't have all the full details top of my head right now, but this is something in that line that we all know that came out into the public sphere, whereby Wike was able to choose who the ministers were, who people that would support Fubara's administration. Wike chose all of it until Fubara rebelled and said it can't happen. And all the way to commissioners or ministers or what you want to call them, commissioners of something, ministers of something. And Fubara had to push back, which obviously resulted to what we currently have at the moment. So do you agree if this is the situation right now? Do you think that the people of Rivers State are the main concern here, or do you think it's just about what Wike wants? Now, bear in mind, Wike said that he wants his structure back. Wike wasn't talking about the policies of Fubara. Wike wasn't talking about the advancement of the people of Fubara. He said he wants his policy back because his structure back, because in his structure has his political relevance. So the people that he puts in power to help them rig elections over and over and over again are the kind of structure that he wants, not the people's structure. Also, there are other questions that are begging for answer. Is it that people of Rivers State actually think that Fubara wasn't their choice? It was foisted on them, it was forced on them. And as such, they're taking the back seat and then watching. My opinion here is that whether or not, because Fubara is now being certified by the court to be the governor, and it's been argued whether or not Tinubu has the power to do what he has done. But whether or not that's the case, whether or not he was voted in by the people, the court has often done, I've been able to say he is a legitimate governor. It's democratically elected, so we have to run with that fact. The same way we're sorely pretending to be running with the fact that Tinubu was democratically elected. That's the same way. But that said, is it the fact that Fubara wasn't the actual person the people of Rio State wanted? Dele Farotimi mentioned something about normative collapse. Normative collapse is a system or an idea of when the things that you hold, let's put it this way, let's break it down to the one that we understand. Your family. Your parents put rules down that you must follow. It just goes to the point where the Bible says, train up a child in the way the child must go, so that when he grows up, he will not depart from it. So your parent puts a law down and say, this is how you must follow. And over the course of time, that law gets broken. And then everything just goes into chaos. So no one is following any rule, no one's following other. No one's valuing anything. And so the thing that were put in place at guardrails, which are called the old landmarks, have now been removed. So what we then have is an acceptance of corruption to become normal. So the normative collapse here is the fact that the things that normally will hold a society together has now been taken out. Before, when a child is doing wrong, it takes the society, the community to raise the child and say, stop it, we will deal with it before your parents get there. But now that guardrail is gone. Everyone is minding their business. So what then happens in essence is that guardrail against corruption has been taken out. Everyone minds their business. So it doesn't matter where you get the money from. You can be a ritualist or not. You can be a corrupt person or not. It doesn't matter to the people. It's just the fact that just bring in the money. So that's exactly what Dele Farotimi in a nutshell was trying to break down, which is what I've just done now for you. So I think the bigger question here is this: do you agree with what Dele Farotimi says? Or do you think he's just a rabble rouser, somebody who's just causing trouble, speaking up the way he's been known to speak up and speak to the truth to power? But again, if you want to check more, I've also done a previous video where it talked about the fight between thieves. So do you agree that Fubara and Wike are both criminals? Do you agree that they are thieves? In a sense, thieves in a sense, not because they stole your thing, but because of the agreement that they made on how to share the resources of Rivers State. Do you think that the way Fubara and Wike modeled the agreement is exactly what Tinubu did in Lagos, starting from when he finished his term in 2007 or thereabout? Yeah, because he was governor of Lagos State from 1999. When he left as governor, from that moment on, he's been the godfather to dictate who comes in and who goes out, like he did with Ambode. So do you think that's exactly what he did with the kind of agreement that Wike did with Fubara? So do you agree with that analysis of what Dele Farotimi said? So again, like I said, we're putting this conversation in front of you and everybody. So we're saying whether or not you're a Lagosian, but we want you, even if you're Nigerian, you think you're interested in what is happening in Rivers State. What is your thought about this? Is it really a fight amongst thieves? Or is it just a fight about one thief wanting to impose a system of thievery in a state, and it puts somebody who now felt like he can outsmart the thief, and the thief is fighting part using federal power? And bearing in mind that the federal power is using is one that needs that same state to be president in 2027. Do you really agree with my analysis? Let's break it down in the comment section. So let me know in the comment section. Let's get into that comment section, and then everyone put your thought and what you think about it, and we will respond to it. Let's have that debate. The thing is this, right? As we approach 2027, it is full-blown. Campaign has started, but we will not be left out. That's why this channel is there, to bring your voice out, so that in case the supposed stakeholders who are the ones running for the election positions find this, they will know that we're not now sleeping anymore. We're now becoming very active. And as such, eventually, before we get to 2027, we will be very active, and we will be in it with them. All right? As always, thank you for always coming back to watch. If you've not yet subscribed and you've been following us, please do so. If you're meeting this content for the first time, good thing you've watched it to this point. Please subscribe, like, share, and put your comment in the comment section. Let other people, be part of your thinking, what you thought about what Dele Farotimi says. All right? Thank you, and God bless you. Catch you up in the next video. Bye-bye now.